Okay, hi, welcome back to this episode of MYD Global. And today I'm in North Carolina with Jeff Wood with the Craven County Economic Development Department. So I'm just going to talk to Jeff about what happened here in Craven County, a little bit about his background and some advice he might have. So Jeff, tell us about yourself, your role and your background.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Wood. I'm the economic developer for Craven County. I've been here since January of this year, so only about 7 months. But before that, I was in West Virginia, and I was in economic development in various different offices and positions through about a 20-year history. The last job that I had was with the West Virginia National Guard, where I worked for the Adjutant General's office as his economic developer, and that actually helped me with some disaster recovery-based economic development over a number of years from a 1,000-year event that they had in West Virginia in 2016. And so was always a fan of this area of North Carolina, and my wife and I wanted to move here. And so when we saw the opportunity for this job, we jumped on it, and we were fortunate, blessed enough to be able to land the job. And so moved down here in January, and my background kind of led well for the job itself with some of the agriculture community projects that are here, as well as the disaster recovery. So still getting my feet on the ground, but excited to be here.
So what have you heard the impact was? Because you're kind of responsible for the area surrounding New Bern, the county kind of. So what were some of the impacts that you heard from businesses or are seeing now?
Well, immediately what happened, New Bern and Craven County were impacted by Hurricane Florence in September of last year. While the area has done an amazing job of rebuilding itself as quickly as it can, it was such a devastating flood, received national attention, New Bern in particular, that it's still trying to rebuild, and particularly two areas that come to mind. One, downtown New Bern, our convention center, which the county owns, is being rebuilt. Thank goodness it's going to be up the final quarter of this year, October. The contracts have been awarded, but it's still one of those where it's affecting our downtown. And then we still have a large hotel that's still down, and that's affecting overall business over the summer. We are a tourist town, the colonial capital of North Carolina, and so a number of people come and visit every year, and so we're still dealing with the impacts of that. And then the second area that's definitely been hit very hard is the agriculture community in the western part of the county in particular. We've had a situation where the flood hit, and that had an impact, and then this summer we've had a drought. And then there's also been some issues where exports from China have been curbed. So it's really been a hard time for our farmers, and trying to figure out what we can do to help them find new places for their products has been challenging.
So where are you seeing some opportunities? So say someone's watching and they say, I've never considered Craven County. First of all, they might say, but you have hurricanes.
The amazing thing about New Bern that really amazed me in Craven County, I was interviewed in person on the ground 6 weeks after the event, and coming from West Virginia and seeing some significant flood damage, I wasn't sure exactly what to see or what to expect, and absolutely amazed at the time that they had turned things around in the short amount of time. There's a festival that happens shortly after when the flood had happened. They made sure to make that festival happen last year. And so there's a can-do attitude. I think, every section of the country or the world have issues and risks when it comes to natural disasters. And so it's really, how does the community respond? We still have a long way to go. We have houses with tarps on them. We have businesses that have dislocated workforce. So we're still moving along. But I think that can-do attitude spreads into the business community. And I can also say from a manufacturing standpoint, Craven County is kind of unique for its size. It has a strong manufacturing base of several thousand employees anchored by the Fleet Readiness Center from the Department of Navy, which has 4,000 employees. We have 1,500 employees at Bosch. We have 1,000 employees at Moen. So we have a strong manufacturing base that really wasn't impacted by the floods or the hurricane. They're in a section of the county that doesn't get hit as hard. And so I think we have that. Cherry Point, where the Fleet Readiness Center is at, we have a military presence as well that's continuing to grow. And so with a diverse economy, I think that we are suited well to be able to continue to grow and offer either people who move here or businesses to move here different kinds of opportunities. So the tangible places where maybe you don't have to worry so much about a hurricane or a flood, and then of course that intangible can-do spirit that I found in New Bern and Craven and absolutely love.
One of the things I think communities find a lot is workforce issues post-hurricane.
Yeah.
But what is your feeling around workforce and your ability to bring back workforce, to generate new opportunities for workforce?
Yeah, when I first got here, I started doing existing industry visits. What I found was that we were growing at such a pace within manufacturing in particular, but also in hospitality and also in construction activity, that we had a lot of unfilled jobs. In our top, say, 7 manufacturing employers, I found nearly 200 unfilled positions. And so, and I don't think that's unusual. I think that's nationwide. We have a full employment economy, and that's the burden of a full employment economy. But what I think the difference between here and other places that I've been to or worked at is we have a really strong community college system. And we mentioned this earlier today. The Volt Center is up and running, and this is a workforce training area that's built right into downtown New Bern. They've actually started the 200 unfilled positions that I've found within a month and a half. They've trained since they've been up and running since June. 25 folks have already have jobs. So I think one of the things that we have is a nimble and flexible workforce network to be able to work with the community college in conjunction with NC Works to help employers figure out how to find workforce solutions in a really challenging workforce economy.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things, and you're relatively new here, but what I've seen since I've been here is you have connected already with a number of key players in the region.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like everybody wants to work together to find solutions.
That's right.
And you don't always find that.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely a plus for here. When you're out selling the region, what are your selling points, your selling features?
We've got a number of value propositions. It depends on what industry you're particularly looking at. I think because of folks like the Fleet Readiness Center and Bosch and Moen, we would be extremely attractive to companies that want to locate near those folks and be suppliers for them. We also have an amazing healthcare system in Craven County. We have a retirement population, and so we have a healthcare service providers that take care of those folks. They're always highly ranked in Medicare statistics. They're consistently, especially Carolina East, our county hospital system is ranked in the top 5 to 10 hospitals in North Carolina consistently. So I think that's a strong one. I think also within the agriculture community, we have an opportunity to show that our farmers are willing to diversify. And I think that might come from the history of shifting from tobacco to try other crops. But it's one of those where it would be a great opportunity for an aggregation point, processing, or food manufacturing to be able to look at reliable several thousand acres worth of feedstock for their facilities. So there's that. Of course, the DoD piece is our strong suit as well. And I do think that New Bern is a growing area for tourism. We have our niche market as the colonial capital. We're an hour away from the Atlantic coast. And I think that a combination of those two things in conjunction with being the birthplace of Pepsi, being the home of Nicholas Sparks, and one of the things that I really love about New Bern is their ability to grab onto those cool things of history and really show it off and be proud about it. I always joke, Bern is German for bear, and it's the first place that I've ever been where the mascot is everywhere, the bear, and it's not a college town. So it's something where they really take pride in what they've had, their history, and I'm glad to be a part of that.
Yeah.
That story now too.
I think that's great. Well, and do you have anything else you want to say before anything we might have missed, or?
Yeah, just one of the things that since kind of based on disaster recovery. The one thing that remind all economic developers that are involved in that is patience is a virtue. This is not something that's going to be turned around. Unfortunately, the response, the event and the response is fast, but the recovery is years. But hang in there. It gives you an opportunity to come out better than what you were before, hopefully, and that there's a lot of different folks that'll come in and help you at different times. And I appreciate everything IEDC's done for us. I called them early this year when I first got here and said, could really use some help. And their volunteer program has really came through with us, including you coming in and helping us this week. We've had agriculture specialists come in. I've got a strategic planner coming in, people helping with assessment, providing resources to be able to survey companies to really help identify and memorialize the damage of the event, so that when funds become available for help, we'll have our story to tell. So thanks to you and thanks to IEDC for everything you guys have done.
Well, and that's great. That's a great point, because I know when many communities, when they go through disasters, they fear having people from the outside. They don't want people to come and help. They said, I'm okay, but the stress it puts on staff, and all of a sudden you're doing your regular job, you're doing recovery, you're planning for resiliency, you're doing all that, you're finding money, you're doing grants, like you're doing all this stuff, and that's hard. And so to get any support and recognizing, that you need help at some point. So I wish you all the best in the future, and I know you'll do great things because you've got some great assets here, great talent, and that's it for this episode. So thank you again, and it's myself, Leanne Hackman-Carty, and Jeff Wood from New Bern, and tune in next time.
Thank you.